What's up guys, it's Alex here, your friendly reef dog. Now a couple of months ago I set up a frag tank in the sump of my Red Sea Reefer Peninsula 500. I've made a video about it that you can go and check out there, but since then I've added a number of upgrades and that's what I'm going to tell you about today. Now if this is your first time here at the channel, I put out a video every week with tips on how to set up and maintain an awesome reef tank. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything. Right, let's get stuck in. In the first month my frag tank was running, I ran into a few problems that I hadn't anticipated. I got detritus building up under the frag rack and I was getting a lot of nuisance algae. So I've made a number of improvements that I thought you guys should know about. Firstly, while the baffle between the frag tank section and the refugium section behind it does look black, it still lets light through. So I added an A4 sheet of black acrylic to block out the refugium light, which should reduce algae in the frag tank. I also threw away the DIY frag rack I'd made. It was the perfect size for my spot and had loads of capacity for frags, but it was too close to the bottom of the frag tank, which meant it became a detritus trap. And there didn't seem to be any sense in having the corals further away from the light. In a frag tank, that just feels like a waste of power to me. So I bought two frag racks from the Polyp Pros, which is the company behind the Prestige Reef Coral Farm. They were cut to my specifications and have grippers for the frag plugs, which in turn has allowed me to get a small blue tuxedo urchin to help in the fight against algae. Now urchins are notorious for picking up coral frags, but generally he's been well behaved, although he did somehow manage to push this massive chunk of glass off the frag rack and onto the floor. Little blighter. Now the glass sheet is in here to grow zoas on. It's a tip I picked up from a local reefer and it makes fragging zoas much easier as they just peel off the glass no problems. I've also added another Jecod SOW4 power head, which I've put under the frag racks to stop detritus settling. Now flow in the frag tank isn't ideal and I still might end up replacing the main power head with something more powerful, but I need to sell a few more frags before I do that, and the anti-detritus pump seems to be doing a reasonably good job so far. I've also added more light. The Tunzi light bars I use are great because they're waterproof so they don't rust, and they're submersible so they won't get in your way if you want to access the sump area. But the colour they give is horrible and far too yellow for my liking, and they're pretty weak, and frankly one on its own couldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding. So I now have two Tunzi 8850 full spectrum lights and one Tunzi 8811 Marine Eco Chic light. I also had to buy a controller for the 8850s. While you can set the colour on the 8850 by using a magnet, it's impossible to get the percentages of each colour channel right, and with the controller I can now tune the white, red and blue channels to my liking. And my liking is 100% blue, 10% white and 0% red. Tunzi, if you're watching this, please replace at least half of the white and red LEDs with blue ones. Nobody wants a yellow fish tank. Now I haven't done a PAR test since adding the extra light, but based on what I was getting before, I estimate that I now have PAR of between 100 and 300 throughout the frag tank, which is perfect for a mix of zoas and SPS. I also have the light set to turn full blues at 6 o'clock for the rest of the evening, and I absolutely love just sitting by my frag tank checking out the fluorescing corals. My display tank is really tall so I don't get to see my corals top down often, and corals just look freaking awesome without any glass in the way. Now you might think I'm sad for doing this, but I genuinely love it, and I even enjoy watching copepods scratching around on the frag plugs without having to worry about being eaten. And if that's not a good enough reason for you, you can go frag yourself. The In-Sump Frag Tank 2.0 then is now much better than before, but I do still find one or two of the corals don't show their best colours. This Tropic Thunder Monty, for example, is much paler than the parent colony in my display tank. Now that can only be down to inadequate flow or light, so I'll move them around on the frag rack to see if they improve, and if not, I'll add a more powerful flow pump. So that is version 2.0 of the frag tank. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for next week, and until next time, happy reefing.